Welcome back to KBUZZPOP, your home for the deepest and most heartfelt stories in Korean entertainment. Today, we're diving into a journey that many fans thought was all happiness, fairy tales, and romantic bliss. But behind the glittering smiles and picture-perfect moments, the love story of Dara and Jung Il-woo has carried shadows that no one fully expected. This isn't just a simple tale of romance, it's a story of resilience, sacrifice, and the silent battles that shaped their path to marriage. So buckle up, because by the end, you'll see their relationship in a way you never have before. And as always, don't just listen, react, comment, and share what you feel at every turn. When we first heard that Sandara Park, our beloved Dara from 2NE1, and Jung Il-woo, the charming actor with a heart-stopping smile, had built something so strong, fans around the world couldn't help but celebrate. Finally, many of you wrote online, "Dara deserves this happiness. Jung Il-woo is perfect for her." But happiness, as we all know, rarely comes without struggle. What many didn't realize was that their love story was being written not only with romantic chapters but with moments of silence, misunderstandings, and overwhelming obstacles that nearly tore them apart. Let's go back to where it began. Do you remember those first whispers of Dara and Jung Il-woo being spotted together? At the time, it seemed almost unbelievable. The idea of an idol like Dara, who had spent years being so careful with her image, and an actor like Jung Il-woo, who had a reputation for keeping his private life hidden, choosing each other, it felt like destiny. But if we could peek behind the curtain, we'd see two people carrying the scars of their pasts into this new beginning. For Dara, relationships were never simple. She once revealed in interviews that she often felt guarded when it came to love. After years of being in the public eye, every small rumor about her dating life had been magnified, criticized, and sometimes mocked. She had grown used to protecting herself with silence. Jung Il-woo, too, carried his own burdens. His health scare years ago had left him more cautious about who he let into his life. He had fought battles most fans never knew about: loneliness during recovery, the fear of becoming a burden, and the pressure to keep working in an industry that never stops for anyone. Now, imagine two people like this, both strong, both wounded, finding each other. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But let's pause here. If you were Dara, how would you approach love after years of rumors and scrutiny? If you were Jung Il-woo, would you dare to open your heart fully, knowing how fragile your world could be? Comment below, because this is the first turning point in their story. Their early days together were filled with excitement, but also with tension. Close friends say Dara often struggled with the idea of being enough for Jung Il-woo. She wondered if her idol past would cast a shadow over their future. Meanwhile, Jung Il-woo worried about how his family would perceive her. Despite his modern outlook, the truth is that traditional family expectations in Korea still play a role, especially for celebrities. One insider recalled, Il-woo was deeply in love, but he carried the pressure of making sure his parents approved. He wanted Dara, but he also wanted peace. Do you feel the weight of that? Love is powerful, but so is the expectation of others. How would you handle it if your family's approval stood between you and the one you love? Fans began to notice something odd. Despite their growing closeness, Dara and Jung Il-woo rarely appeared together in public. Even during times when they were known to be in the same city, their sightings were few. Why? Because their relationship had become a silent battle against the eyes of the world. They wanted to be free, but they couldn't be. Dara, especially, feared a repeat of her past, headlines tearing her apart for daring to love. Jung Il-woo, on the other hand, wanted to protect her, but in doing so, he sometimes distanced himself too much, creating cracks in their bond. This is where their silent battle grew strongest. Misunderstandings piled up. Dara once confided to a friend that she sometimes felt invisible, as if their love existed only in the shadows. Jung Il-woo, meanwhile, was frustrated that Dara didn't see how hard he was working behind the scenes to shield her. They loved each other deeply, but they were speaking different languages of love. Hers, craving presence; his, craving protection. Think about your own relationships. Have you ever loved someone but found yourselves out of sync? Comment your story, because this is something universal, even if Dara and Jung Il-woo's stage is brighter than ours. What made things harder was the media. Every time they managed to spend a few days together, paparazzi would hound them. Headlines were cruel. suggesting Dara was clinging to Jung Il-woo, or that Il-woo was settling for her. Can you imagine reading that about your relationship day after day? It chipped away at their confidence, their peace. And yet, through it all, they chose to keep going. The turning point came when Jung Il-woo faced a tough period in his career. A drama he had invested months in did not perform as well as expected. Instead of celebrating his return, critics began questioning his future as a leading man. At the same time, Dara was quietly preparing for a new music project, but fear held her back. She worried fans had moved on. Both of them, in their separate worlds, were drowning. It was here that their love was tested most. Would they drift apart, or would they find strength in each other? The answer, thankfully, was the latter. One night, after a particularly rough day, Jung Il-woo reportedly went to Dara's home unannounced. It was late, and she was shocked to see him there, exhausted but determined. He told her, "I can't lose you because of fear." That moment became their silent pact, not to let the noise of the world dictate their future. From there, their relationship shifted. They began traveling together, not openly, but carefully. They leaned on a small circle of friends who supported them. And slowly, their families came around. Jung Il-woo's parents, once skeptical, began to see how deeply Dara cared for him. Dara's family, who adored her, welcomed him with warmth. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Now here's where I want you to imagine yourself in their shoes. What would you do differently if you were Dara? Would you continue hiding, or would you finally declare your love to the world, no matter the consequences? When the news of their marriage finally broke, the world rejoiced. Fans cried, laughed, and filled social media with messages of support. But make no mistake, the road to that moment was not easy. It was paved with silent battles, painful sacrifices, and moments where walking away might have been the easier choice. And yet, Dara and Jung Il-woo chose to fight. This is the sad truth behind their marriage. Love is never just smiles and wedding bells. It's also late-night arguments, silent tears, and the courage to keep going even when the world doubts you. And that's what makes their story so powerful. It's real. It reminds us that even stars, with their fame and fortune, face the same struggles we do. So now I ask you, KBUZZPOP family, what do you take away from Dara and Jung Il-woo's journey? Is it that love requires sacrifice? That family approval still matters? Or that the bravest love is the one that chooses to stay, even when everything else tells you to walk away? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just their story, it's a mirror for all of us. And remember, while their road may have been filled with sadness, it also brought them to a love strong enough to last. That's the real fairy tale.